Hello everyone, our team is the Global Scope team work with the beach safety for international students in New South Wales to give some suggestion to studying in New South Wales. And there is our group members, Kate, Louis, Jasmine, and Max. Next, I hope to introduce our background, the background of our project. The current situation is international students in Australia is growing year by year, and in the same time, most international students like to go to beach. Followed by it, beach safety problem also is become more and more important. So based on the condition, the project objective of our project is to give 6 to 10 suggestions to study in New South Wales. And finally, our project gave eight suggestions for in this project. In order to find the real interests of international students, we also do a survey to find the quarantine conditions. There is the survey. Some results of survey. Sorry. This survey is made in this summer, and we finished this questionnaire survey online. Finally, we received 15 international students response. In this, based on the survey, we get some pretty interesting result. It includes, let's say this. First, we find that most international university students would like to go to beach. The proportion pick up to 86%, which is pretty high, and at the same time, most of them do not have accept enough education about Australian beach safety knowledge. The percentage of earlier 21% international university students accept enough education about Australian beach safety knowledge. So it's the reason why we should work in this area. Besides, we also have found the best competition and the best activities. For activities, we find the online pride quiz, first aid competition, and quickly pride quiz is popular around the international students. And then for favorite and for popular and unpopular activities, we find that newsletter may be the most unpopular activities, and the activity is hated by 36% respondents. Other activities such as beach tour, event in student accommodation, and competition all are very popular around the international students. Next, our team member will introduce the beach tour.
Okay, thanks, Max. So, according to our questionnaire, we know that beach tour is our most popular activity. Among our 115 respondents, 49 had chosen beach tour as their preference, which is 43% in proportion. So it indicated that beach tour would be an attractive and effective way to educate international students with beach surf safety knowledge. Our target audience for this activity are uni students, English college students, and school students. The main task of studying New South Wales for this activity is making connections between international students and organizations that currently hold on beach activities. So there will be estimated labor hour input for connecting. Evaluation of the effectiveness of each tour would be undertaken at the end of the activity. There are 3 available assessment ways to evaluate. First is short survey for the participants. Second, interactive quick quiz about beach safety knowledge. And the third is interview of the participants. We have 3 key partners for beach tour. Surf Life Saving, which currently has on-beach surf safety workshops, and there are also a range of surf life saving clubs located on the beaches along the coast in New South Wales. The clubs hold events like competition and nipper on the beaches, which get lots of school and college students aged 5 to 17 involved. Alternatively, some private organizations also offer short beach trips for student groups. For example, Colorful Trips holds a range of short trips for each university groups. We have 2 important time points for the activities. At orientation week, many new international students have just arrived at Sydney would be need to attend some activities to discover the new city and meet some new friends. And because we had a talk with the manager of English Australia, Sophie, she told us that most English colleges don't have orientation week. So at this time, our main targeted participants would be university students. Surf Life Saving currently have on-beach surf safety workshops which charge from $22.3 per person. Students themselves have to pay this reasonable price. We need universities to help us approaching international students and advocating the activities. On Common Week, more students are finding somewhere to have fun, and beaches would be a great idea for them, especially in summer. At this moment, almost all the international students would be our main targeted participants. An important point we have to consider is that, unlike uni students, school students, and some of college students are under the age of 18, this activity is better to be confirmed by their parents through schools to ensure safety. In addition to Surf Life Saving, some clubs have competitions and events held on beaches for their memberships from age of 5. Next, we talk about social media.
Let's have a look of social media. The reason we put social media in is because social media is the most common way to approach international students. So from the call with Sophie from English College, we know that most of the education organizations will have their own social website page. So we can post some news and events on different social medias to all international students. So we're targeting especially on college students because Sophie suggests that this is one of the best way to approach them. So our partners would be English College and the universities. Refer to the timeline, according to our survey, that 31% of our respondents say they would like to go to the beaches in Australia. So except we post important information on start of each semester, we specifically recommend that we post beach safety knowledge that before the holiday, before people actually go to the beach. So next one, the issue falls in how to get people actually read the information provided. So let's have a look of 2 news. So the left one, it says too many international students in Australia are drowning. And the right one says 2 international students have drowned in New South Wales. And the news also gave the name and where they study, where they're from, and when they had such an accident. So think about which one you would actually click on and read it. I would say the right one because it actually tells us a story, a real story that happens next to us, really close to us. So when you think about it, maybe students will say, this is really close to me and I will actually have a look. Oh, I'm from the same uni and I'm actually considering going on a holiday during Christmas. So we do suggest that we post some real news to attract people's eyes. So next activity is student accommodations. From our survey, we can see a large number of students living in student accommodations, and they approximately 15% of people like events in student accommodations. So we do recommend this activity. So we can cooperate student accommodations to organize some activities together, which I will talk about it in detail in a minute. So target audience would be all international students who live in a student accommodation. Partners will be the companies running student accommodations and the Surf Saving. And the timeline would be similar, but we can also hold some events throughout the semester. So there are two types of accommodations. One is private run student accommodations. So these companies, so we can just contact these companies directly. And another type is university run accommodations. These accommodations are mostly on campus and run by university themselves, but mostly they will outsource their management team to another company. But contacting university would be the best way to approach as much as we can. Now we can have a look of what activities we can actually do in a student accommodation. We had a short interview with operations manager in a specific accommodation on University of Sydney campus called Abercrombie Student Accommodation. The operations manager is called Sal Ali. He gave us some really important information. So there are 82% of international students in that accommodation. And firstly, we can spread our words through newsletters. So they will send email about activities and events available in the future to all the residents. So we can actually put our information in the email. And we can also post some posters on the notice board so that every resident in the building can see. Also, they will have similar activity called orientation week as in university. They will have a series of activities in the beginning of every semester. So we can invite a guest speaker from Surf Life Saving to give a speech to educate students about surf safety. And also the welcome pack is a good way to educate people about the surf safety information. So when they first arrive in Australia, the first place they settle down is the accommodation. So whatever in this pack, they will definitely have a look. So this also increases the effectiveness of our information. But there are some risks involved. Firstly, Sal said many accommodations, they receive many emails every day from different companies. So probably they won't reply our email when we contact them. Another thing is the involvement might be low. Not all the residents will attend the events inside accommodation, and there are many accommodations in New South Wales. We cannot connect them all. Next is airport pickup.
Yeah, next I will introduce two not very important but interesting activities, which is the airport pickup and newsletters. First, let's say airport pickup. Airport pickup is not very popular, but also is an important activity because as we all know, most in airport is the first step of international students to Australia. Let's say the detailed plans. Of course, the partners of airport pickup should be universities. Maybe some people would ask why not select airport pickup companies. It is because university students and language universities are most important pickup organizations, and pickup companies only occupy a little part. Another advantage of airport pickup is that it just need a little budget. You need company only need pay the cost of flyers and some labor input. And we just cooperate with universities and place flyers in international student welcome desks or just place in pickup cars. Fresh international students will be happy to use this to know some tips in Australia. So it's pretty good and interesting activities. And besides that, I also know Joanna Sunday New South Wales will have activity in airport in this Saturday, and they will have airport beach safety desks. Our team really wish you have a good success, complete success. And then next is the newsletters. Indeed, newsletter isn't very popular. It is hated by most students, but it also is a good way to approach a large number of students because as we all know, if some students maybe do not like attend the events, and sometimes some students also is very busy to join other activities. In such condition, newsletters maybe the only way to introduce beach safety to them. For beach safety, the key partners is the university and schools, and especially for English Australian because language university students is the very important part for us because they do not clearly about the ground rules, and as we all know, they also like beaches very much. The input of newsletter also is very cheap because we have materials like flyers and others, so we just need to put some labor hours. Maybe for one activity, we just need to input 6 to 10 hours. The activity, the advantage of it is it needs a little cost and able to approach a large number of students and easy to accomplish. And the problems also is obvious. It's that most students obviously do not like email newsletter ways. Next, our team member will introduce the information session.
Alright, now let's talk about the information session. Based on the questionnaire we have done, the current situation is that within the 8 activities we have prepared, information session actually ranks 4th that students don't like and ranks the 7th that students like. So we might conclude that the international students' attitude towards information session is a little bit neutral and towards dislike. But considering that information session is a very straightforward way to educate beach safety information to international students, and especially to new students who just step into Australian, they are very willing to attend such information session. So we also recommend it as a supplement activity to educate international students about beach safety. The partners we have here are universities and Surf Life Saving New South Wales.
We exclude the schools here because we think the information session might sound a little bit boring to the international students in schools, so we mainly focus on the universities here. And when we Google the beach safety information session in unis, we have a very interesting findings that there do exist some sessions in unis like universities of Queensland, universities of Newcastle, unis of Wollongong. They are all unis along the coast. But for the universities around Sydney, there rarely exist information sessions. So we think this is what we ought to improve. And for Life Saving New South Wales, they have presentation now for $150, and they hold the presentation for 45 to 60 minutes and is welcome for audiences from all ages. The information includes the basic beach safety knowledge. And the action plans here, we recommend the Study New South Wales to make some connections between universities and Surf Life Saving New South Wales to prepare for the information session, and we could advertise the information session through the official social media of universities before or during the O week. And the time to hold this information session, we recommend to hold it in the first few weeks of the semesters, because during the O week, the information is too overwhelming that the international students may not have that much energy to attend such information session. And we could also recommend the universities to recruit some volunteers to help for the organization. And for the assessment, we recommend to do the assessment immediately after the information session. The form could be either the quick quiz or self-reflection question. And I'm going to talk more about the quick quiz after that. The next activity is the competition. Based on the current situation from the questionnaire, we highly recommend to focus on quiz and first aid competition, and especially the online quiz here. The partners we have are schools and universities, and we have some existing materials from Royal Life Saving for online quiz, which is National Water Safety Quiz, which include the safe and unsafe behaviors of aquatic locations, water safety rules, survival and rescue skills, and some CPR procedures. And as we mentioned before, the Surf Life Saving New South Wales could organize with the unis to prepare for the beach tours and information session. So we recommend if we can ask for the presenters or the organizers of the Surf Life Saving New South Wales to prepare some quick question right after the information session or the beach tour. And besides the info session and the beach tour, we also recommend to focus on social media for online quiz. The challenge here is how to get people actually involved and interested in. The methods we recommend here is a little bit tricky. The first one is to create some attractive titles like 93% of people cannot do this, can you? Or 98% people don't even know this beach tip. Do you know this? When people saw such title, they may feel much more interested. And the second one is attractive assessment after the quiz. Imagine that you have done the quiz and the result turns that you have beaten 98% of people in Australia. Then the participants may get very happy and want to spread the information and want to send a link to their friends to see how their friends done the question. This is all of our activities, and we also have some materials here. There are some contacts that may be useful, and we also have flyers kindly provided by the Surf Life Saving New South Wales. As a pack of promotional flyers, we could distribute them to the attendees of the information session, or put some flyers on the airport welcome desk, or put some flyers on the reception desk of the student accommodation. Thank you for listening, and this is all of our presentation.